As now we had seen RBAC hierarchy and system roles, let's understand privilege inheritance. In Snowflake, privilege inheritance is primarily managed through RBAC model. Unlike some traditional databases where privileges might be tied directly to a user, Snowflake grants privileges to roles and then roles grant to users or other roles. Let's try to understand this with the below image. The core of privilege inheritance is the role hierarchy. You can grant a lower level role to a higher level role. When this happens, the higher level role inherits all the privileges held by a lower level role. Privileges flow upwards. If the role B is granted to a role A, then role A has all its own privileges plus everything granted to role B. At the top of every Snowflake hierarchy, we have system defined roles like, as you can see, account admin, security admin, and sysadmin. There is a subset which is known as structural inheritance or database objects. Snowflake also utilizes a container based inheritance models for objects. This is often referred to as namespace inheritance. Privileges can be granted at different level here, like account level, database level, schema level, and object level. To access a low level object like a table, a role must have a usage privilege on every container above it. If you have select on a table but lack usage on the parent schema or database, you cannot access the data. Let's now talk about database rules. Snowflake has introduced database rule concept facilitating the assignment of grants on database objects to other database roles or Snowflake roles. This simplifies the process of redistributing database roles to multiple roles without any kind of ambiguity. Database roles in Snowflake are entities designed to manage access to secureable objects within a specific database. Unlike standard account level roles, database roles are contained within a database and cannot be granted directly to users. Instead, they must be granted to the account role, which are then assigned to the users. If we talk about the key characteristics and scope, database rules are limited to the database where they are created. They can only hold privileges for objects like tables, views, schemas within that same database. If we talk about hierarchies, you can create a role hierarchy by granting database rules to other database roles within the same database or to the account roles. Next up is activation. Users cannot activate a database role directly using use role. They must use an account role that has been granted the database role. And fourth is creation. It is managed using the create database role command by a role with ownership on the database. The common use cases involve data sharing. Providers use database roles to segment access to shared objects. Instead of sharing an entire database, they can grant specific database roles to a share, allowing consumers to access only a subset of data. Next up is reduced role sprawl. They allow database owners to manage fine-grained internal access independently without creating numerous global account roles. As we can see in this diagram, database role cities DB reader is contained within a database and is granted to the account role cities reader, which is then assigned to the user cities analyst. Let's create the database role in Snowflake and see this in action. I am into my Snowflake, and first thing I will create a new SQL file. I will name this as database roles.sql, and in this I will be showing you the complete hands-on on the database role. First thing first, I will create a database. I will say create or replace database, and I will name this as, let's say, db underscore cities. Okay, and then I will create a schema. I will say create schema cities, and let's create a table as well. Create table db underscore cities dot, let's say, cities list, and I will just have a column called cities underscore name as varchar. Perfect. And now I will insert two entries, and I will skip this part. I had written my insert scripts as well. Let's create a database role as well. I will say create or replace database role. Let's name it cities underscore db underscore reader, and then I will grant usage on schema db underscore cities dot my table name cities to database role, my database role cities underscore db underscore reader, and I had granted the usage on the schema, and I will also grant select on the table, grant select on all tables in database db underscore cities to database role, and my database role is cities db reader. Let's run these scripts as of now. I will hit run. And perfect, guys. All these scripts has ran. It's the very time that I should see the grants. So I will say show grants to database role and my database role, and I will hit enter to see the grants. So I can see that I am having usage grant on database and schema and select grants on all the tables. As of now, it is only having a single table. So it is giving a select for single table. Makes sense? Now it's the very time to create another user. I will create one more user. I will say create or replace user, and I will name this as cities underscore analyst. I will mention the password, let's say 123. Then there is another property which is very important to mention. Okay, must change password. As of now I am keeping it false, but usually it is the best practice that whenever you are creating a new user with the default password, initially you should have a must change password as true, so that user can change the password on his end as well. So also I will create one role, create role, let's say cities reader. I will grant my database role to this new role. I will say grant database role cities db reader to role, this role. Now I will run these three scripts. Now I need to grant this role to warehouse as well, right? So I will say grant modify monitor operate and usage on my warehouse, and my warehouse is compute warehouse. To which role? To my cities readers role. The last thing I will do is I will grant the role cities reader to cities analyst user. I will say grant role cities reader to user cities analyst. I will run these two scripts as well. And perfect. I had ran all the scripts. Now, after using this series of scripts, database role will be granted to the Snowflake role. That is further granted to the user as well, as you had just seen. Now, we will be logging to the Snowflake account with the credentials of cities analyst. Okay, the user is cities analyst and my password is 123. I will log into this account now. First thing first, I will go to my account and I will sign out from my current account. And then here I will mention the username as cities analyst and my password as well. And then I will go and sign into this account. I am into my newly created Snowflake account and I will go to workspace. I will click on new file and I will create a SQL file. Here you can see my cities reader role as well, right? And I should be able to see my compute warehouse as well. Perfect. And if I go to my databases, I should be able to see my cities DB, and inside my cities DB, I should be able to see my cities table, which I am able to see. Now I will just run the select star on this table. And perfect, guys. I am able to see my data using my database role, which is cities reader. This is how database roles work. Database role cities DB reader was contained within the database and then was granted to the account role cities reader, which is then assigned to the cities analyst. And we can see the tables results. This is pretty much about database roles.